everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. We are to November's card club. Can you believe it? But before I get going on that, I'm going to show you a couple of videos in case you missed them. I'm not going to take much time to talk about them because you can go find, I was going to say the tutorials. One of them doesn't have one. But here is a fun fall card. You have plenty of time to make this. It was super easy. If you watch the video, when my videos are super short, you know the card's super easy. So that is a fall one. Then some Christmas ideas for you. This one, again, super quick. I'm showing you a lot of quick things this time of year because if you haven't yet started your cards, you need them to be a little on the quick side. Here's this one. And this one uses the wreath, and although it might not look like it is quick, trust me, it's a very quick card. We did it at my in-person camp. Actually, these are 3 cards that we did at camp last week. And then I have a New Year's card. This is part of the Create With Us tutorial bundle. You get that free with purchase every month if you purchase $50 in merchandise with me. And then this one was Card Club for October. So I wanted you to see it. It's not as quick and easy. So if you want to do something like this, if you're in Card Club, you're good because you already have all the stuff pre-cut for you and ready to go. But otherwise, you would need to get on it because there's a lot of die cutting with that set. So this month we are using, I just looked before I started. Brushed with Beauty. I knew it had beauty in it, but I couldn't remember the rest. The Brushed with Beauty Suite. So in my card club, we do 6 projects, 3 designs, 2 of each. You get your envelopes, and I'll show you what comes in the packet. And then every month, my club members can add on the set. So this month, the set that we are using is Petals of Beauty. They will come in the new packaging, which is great for shipping this stuff to you guys. I'm really excited about that. If you're not a fan of the new packaging, I get it. Change is hard. So a funny story, my shelves are designed because a lot of people are worried that they're not going to fit on their current configuration. My shelves were built when we still had those horrible, awful clam shells. And I've never got around in all of the years since to change it. So I'm good. I'll put something else on the shelves because these will fit easily in a rolly rack. And maybe someday I'll put it on my channel. It's where I keep my stamp sets now. The ones that I intend to stamp with. I will get a lot more in my little rolly rack with this size. These are the dies that I am not using, but they will appear on other cards. And then every month there's, well, not every month, a lot of months I have extra add-ons that you can get. This month is Words of Beauty is one. And again, these are the dies a lot larger than what they look on the packaging. And then the Words of Beauty, and you'll see one because I'm going to use one. But here they are. I'll just pull one out. This is the Because. I love this stamp set because there's so many options with it. So here is how much bigger it is than what's shown on there. But you have Just Because You're a Great Friend, Just Because It's Your Birthday. On mine, I did Because It's Your Birthday. You don't have to put the just, but then you can see they're also up here. I Love You, You've Been on My Mind. You're So Amazing. So super fun configuration of items that you can use. So you can add that this month. This is a bonus bundle. The one I showed you first is the actual club bundle. And then there's going to be a couple more, and you can see those in the videos upcoming later this week. And then the beautiful pattern embossing folder, you can add that on too. So I pay shipping and handling and tax. You save about 20% when you order for club. This month, you're going to get half a packet of this paper. You can see, here's a little snippet that's coming on one of the other cards. Here is the paper. It's beautiful colors. It is perfect for winter floral cards that you don't want to be all spring or summer looking, but you want to send a floral. It's actually a nice year-round floral paper. So you get that, and then that will be cut 6 by 12. And then you get a full packet of the Pearls of Beauty, and then a full packet of the Early Espresso and Old Olive thread, which is not part of the suite. The suite didn't have a ribbon, and this one will work really nicely. So that's why we are using that. And then in your packet, you will have all the supplies already ready for you. So everything comes, if it needs to be die cut or put through a folder, you can see it already is, unless it's something that you're going to stamp and then need to cut out, because that would be counterproductive for me to cut them all first and then you try to stamp on top of them. So here's what you'll get for this. Try to remember to stamp my envelope. Those are dimensionals. So let's make this project, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Card Club as we go. So this piece of paper is just how yours will come in your pack, and it is your 6 by 12. So we need to trim it down, and we need to make it 4. So it's up to you. I went with this along the bottom, so it looked like I had a bottom kind of card, but it doesn't matter. And in fact, I think on this one, I'll do it the opposite way, so you can decide which way you want to cut yours. So this is going to be our card base. So 4 1/4. And that will give us card size. And then you'll end up with these strips that you can obviously use for something else. I love the stripes. This is really what I wanted to use on the other card that you can see I cut a piece out of, but because I was using whole pieces on this, I decided not to. And then you need to score this at 4 1/4. Make sure you have your scoring blade. 4 1/4 and 9 1/2. And you don't have to press hard when it's designer series paper because you don't want to bust through it with your scoring blade. Oh, I have 2 paper triggers laying here now. I didn't realize I'd put them on both sides of me. So we're going to fold this in half, and this will be our card. Or not half. Fold it. And this card, we've done it maybe in Try It class before. I don't know that we've ever done this kind of design in Card Club. So it is one where it's totally up to you now how you want your flaps to go. This paper is beautiful, and that's why I wanted to do this card, because I love both sides and I didn't want to have one glued down. So you can have it go like this, or you can have it go like this, or you can flip it over and have it like this. So I have done it like this because we're using vellum, and this gives the vellum a little bit more stability. So we have one of these dies in Petal Pink. You have one of these dies in Mossy Meadow. And then this is the branching out, which we did use in October. And I have run this through the new vellum, which is also coming out with the online exclusives, and that will be our base. So that's why I'm going to put it this way, because it's a little bit less of that has to get lifted up. And then we have your Mossy Meadow to do some stamping on. And then we have some vanilla to do stamping on, and then you have another vanilla piece that you'll be able to tell goes inside the card here. So don't mix these up, because you might not have enough to stamp all your flowers on if you do it that way. So let's stamp. Let's start with our big flowers. So I wanted to have it match as much as I could the paper, which is really pretty colors, except I'm not quite sure what that color is. It looks like Rose Romance or something we've had a long time ago. It's probably a color. I was just really busy when I made the prototype. I didn't have time to pull the stuff back up online. I'm still a little old-fashioned. If there had been a catalog, I would have looked in it, but I didn't want to go over and find my flyer. So if you're on my email list, when you get the email that talks about Card Club and has this in it, you will get the flyer for the November online exclusives, so be watching for that. If you're not on my email list, then join, because it will come over the next couple. So these are 2-step stamps. I'm going to stamp the bottom in Petal Pink, and then this is the inside of our card. So I'm going to stamp this. Now, the actual club set this month does not have any sentiments in it. That's why you can add on the just because. So I am going to stamp with the sentiment. A lot of times I don't put anything on a club card unless it is included in club as far as stamping goes. But I'm going to put the It's Your Birthday, and if you don't have it, you can handwrite it. And if you may look through your stash, because you may have it in a different stamp set that says something very similar. Now I'm going to do Calypso Coral. And you can see I didn't ink it all the way, especially for these inside ones, because I like for them to look a little bit different. So I'm just kind of tap, tap, tap. It's not push, push, push. On the front ones, I will be a little bit more intentional about matching them up, but I like for the inside to look a little bit organic. Now we'll get these two. They're easy to line up because you have this one here that has the notch in it, and it's very obvious on here. These you want to line up a little bit more correctly than on those. That's not great, but I can't put my head over it when I'm on camera because they need to go through the die. And if they're not if they're too far off, then they're not going to go through the die. Neither of those are great, so we'll see how those work. Then let's do our leaves. So pull your Mossy Meadow piece over. We're going to put 2 of everything on the front of this card. So 2 here, 1, 2. That's it. Oh. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to grab my envelope, which we don't have vanilla envelopes anymore. If we did, I would have given you those, but we don't. So the only thing I am putting on my envelope for this card is the leaf. Just going to give a little bit of a hint of what's to come inside the card. That's it for Mossy Meadow. I don't think I put leaves on the inside bit. Maybe I did. Maybe we'll go back and discover that I should have. But it doesn't matter. You can do every card a little different. And my card's buried under all of this stuff. And I'm going to use Early Espresso. So these are different than I did on the other one. On my other one, they were stamped on the vanilla as well, and I didn't care for it. So hopefully I like this a little bit better. And these just line up right in there. And then we'll put one over on this. I didn't like it because there was a lot of white space. Sometimes the dies, get right up close to it. These had a lot of white space, and they made the leaves a little too big. So I tried to fix it, and I will show you what I did. I still didn't like it. Now there is a tiny little inside of your flower. Also going to use espresso for it. And it just goes right there in the middle. Then the last thing in brown is the It's Your Birthday. So the front is going to say because in the die, and so then when you open it up, it will say because it's your birthday. And that's a little crooked, but we've all done it. Then we have one more thing left to stamp. And again, I'm changing this one a little bit from what I did on the original. On the other one, I double stamped Darling Duckling twice, and as it dried, there wasn't enough of a contrast. I'm going to use crushed curry for the top piece. So bring this over here. We need 2. And then I'm going to show you something before we move on. After I do this. Oh no, it's not this set. So ignore that. I was thinking, how did that work? One of the other sets is a 2-step stamp that I didn't use 2-step because I was thinking, how am I going to show them that when I'm literally using 2-step? Get a couple of the yellow ones on here. I like when the insides of the card are pretty. And especially one where your designer series paper is standing in for a lot of the art. Well, not a lot on this one. We're putting a lot on it irregardless of using. That's Darling Duckling. And then let's do crushed curry and see if that shows up a little bit more. These aren't the flowers that are on the paper. It's the colors, but these flowers aren't the ones that match this particular sheet of paper. Yeah, that's better. Because the first one, they were pretty, and then as it dried, it all just mushed into one color. And so then I tried a 3-time on it. Put these a different way. And yeah, it would look so much better. I cannot stamp apparently today. And it's partly because I have made the switch, as you can see, because it's gotten cold here. Those are bad. I'm gonna do those again, to long sleeves. And it's not like I get ink on my arms when I have my bracelets on. Maybe my bracelets stop. I don't wear bracelets as much in the winter time because I have long sleeves on. But I feel like I'm going to touch the pad, and maybe it's the dangly here. And I don't want to get my shirt in the ink. So let's see if I can do these better. We'll fast forward it, and then that way I can put my head over the top. Those are much better. See, I can stamp. I just need to put my head where I can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to take the dies. We have our envelope done. We have the inside done. I'm going to take my dies, and I'm going to trim these out. I'm not going to trim those out. All right, so we have these. I do like this a lot better than my other one because now this one I got pretty good, but this one had too much white or vanilla. Pop all those out. There's my bad ones. Look how much better those look when you do it the right way. Okay, now we just need to build our little card. And then we grab this. I'm going to start with my vellum piece, and it just needs to overhang a little bit. I went with vellum because this card, even though we had a giant piece of paper, I wanted to be able to see it. So for this, I'm going to put my adhesive on this part so I don't accidentally put it too far over. So put that on there, and then I'm going to, either one of the ribbons will work. It's Mossy Meadow, but I think this looks, obviously Old Olive and Mossy Meadow are in the same family. I am going to take this, and I'm just going to wrap it around a few times just to give it some texture and some interest. It's not going to have a big bow or anything. Vellum's a little bit tricky because it pulls over so easily. So I'm going to lay that there, kind of hold it all together, trim it, and then just cut a knot. The other one, I trimmed off all the bottom of it, and then when I was done, I decided I kind of liked it sticking through. So I'll see again on this one, because you know, once you cut, it's done. I was like, maybe I should have left it. And this is why I already have the adhesive ready on the back. So once this is on, I can stick this on there. Keep all this from moving. Grab that. Just gonna pull these so they're spread out nicely and attached. Remember, the adhesive is right there, so this will hold it on now. I think this is probably why I cut it before. It wasn't even, and it just looked messy, and I was like, I'm going to cut this. And then once it was cut, I was like, maybe I wanted to see a little bit of it, so I'm going to leave it, and then we'll have a look. We're going to start with our leaves. These are just going to get right on the card. Oh yes, this paper's so much better, because when I tried to fix it, I put shimmer on it, and it just lightened them all up. It did make the edges go. Green. If you want to shimmer these, I did. And the only reason I shimmered them on the other card was because I had already done these, and it was too much to not have that. Those of you in Card Club know what I'm talking about when I shimmered them. But I don't feel the need to on this one. I just want to make sure it stays on your card. If you're not going to put it in an envelope, it doesn't matter as much. But I assume since we made an envelope, it will go in an envelope. Nope. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut it in half. I don't remember if that's what I did on the other one, but I have a feeling since it doesn't fit on there great, that's what I did. I still can't see my card where I laid it. I like to put my hands right up on the edges with this little stem that I cut off. Trim that down. This is another reason I cut the ribbon off. Twine. There we go. Now we're going to use dimensionals for these. Sometimes you'll have a flower or an image that you stamped better, or a die cut may have slipped and they don't look as good. So obviously this one looks a little bit better than this. I want this one to be on top. So I'm going to turn this little point where it kind of went off the edge of the die. And this one looks great. So when I stick it over the top, I don't want them to go the exact same direction. Go that way. Yeah, I'm going to trim it. Maybe not all the way yet, but it loses the other one. And then these get their dimensional. Stick that under there. And let's put our inside in. It's easy to get this straight because it got lines on the paper. But then it makes my crooked stamping look a little bit more crooked. Don't worry about it if that's how yours is. Whoever you give the card to doesn't care. I'm going to grab my liquid glue. I kind of struggled with how to get this on here because it definitely needs to be glued because it's kind of delicate. But you're going to see in a second that we have one end that's a little bit more raised up because this has dimensionals and this did not. So I made sure that you don't want this to go a whole lot off the edge of the vellum, but a little bit. I also had it in brown. I'll show you what it looks like in brown because you would think that brown is a nice strong color, right? So I had all your card packets ready because the card was done in my head, which is never safe to do. I did it in my head. And so I cut all the pieces and then I made the card. So I didn't like the green. I was trying to get a lot done. And sometimes, you know, when you go too fast, then here's the brown. It might look good on top of the petal pink, but it just got all lost over in this. So I liked the petal pink better. So now we need our embellishments. So if you're in my card club, one, you sign up via PayPal subscriptions and then they auto bill you every month. You get a loyalty gift after you've been in it for 6 months, so in your 7th month, or your 13th month after you've been in it for a year, or every 2 years you get a stamp set. But that's how you sign up. But also, I sort of see if you're in my card club, you will get used to using lots of embellishments because we buy embellishments for the reason to use them on cards, right? Not to keep them on this little piece of paper over in our drawer because they're too pretty and we can't use them all up. So 5 years later, you open your drawer and you have tons of unused embellishments. They look way better on your card and you'll feel much better about using them than you will about hoarding them and then having to make a decision what to do with them all a few years from now. So we do put a lot on our projects because every month you get a new packet of them. Something new and beautiful, and you never use them all. So even this month, there is a chance. Well, I've done 2 cards, so I have used that many of our small coral pieces. But even that's not enough for me. So we're going to stick a couple of these up here. But once you start putting more on, you're going to see that, oh, that does look better with a lot of them on. I don't know who started the 3 thing. It may be back from the days where we all did stuff in person. So if you had 10 people at a house, then 3 seemed like a good number because that was 30. And so you were going through them a little faster. Okay, so this one, I much prefer the leaves. A shimmer is always beautiful. So if you want a shimmer, you can see here. But see, I tried to fix it. It looks much better that way. Put all of the flowers in this is shimmered on there. I didn't shimmer the because I didn't want everything shimmery. Nope, no leaves on there. I couldn't remember if I did it or not. That It's Your Birthday is a little bit crooked. But notice this, that is 3 times stamped with the Darling Deckling and it just disappears. So it does look better to have the little bit of the crushed curry, which has, I've never noticed that it has a tiny bit of an orange tinge. It must just be because it's got those Calypso things on there. So if you're interested in Card Club, you have till the 10th of every month to sign up. Or if you're in Card Club, to add any of the optional add-ons where you save money. And it's always out the door with postmarked by the 26th. But because the next 2 months have holidays, that fall at that same time. They will be earlier this year. So if you're in Card Club, anything that you can order early will help us be prepared, especially the bonus ones where you get the extra projects, because then we can start cutting paper for those and know how many people need those. So we're not right up at Thanksgiving cutting your paper. So I love you, but I also, Thanksgiving week is my favorite week of the year. So I want to enjoy it and not be worried that we still have to get things out the door to you. Have a great day and come back later this week for some more sneak peeks.